Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy
Happy
Goddess
Wednesday.
Chat. Hello, everyone out there.
Hi,
If you're out
everybody.
there, back for
Technology keeps
another.
playing with me, so I was like
Uh,
having some difficulties, but now we're here. Yay!
uh, yeah, technology. We're going to be technology wizards when all is said and
Mm,
done. I love that
indeed.
how TV commercials and all that have jumped on the Zoom wagon and
Oh, yeah, that's entertaining, right?
hysterical. You're on mute. Uh, well, anyway, you can't mute
Great.
us. Not today. We got stuff to say. Can't mute the
What we need
goddess.
to
Uh,
do.
uh.
Yes, God, this is true.
Yeah, yeah. So, Cerridwyn.
Cerridwyn.
Cerridwyn,
We've
yeah.
been playing with how to say her name. Cerridwyn.
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 Well, because I'd been saying Cerridwyn for a while, and then I thought, oh, okay, let's go and listen here. And then I had when I heard that the sea was like Celtic, so I thought, okay,
Mm.
she's a Celtic goddess, sea Cerridwen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how my goddess brain works today. See,
Well, yeah, I have to tell you, I love that in her this her message in the Goddess Power book that we um, use as our first reference. So when we're beginning to dive into these goddesses, we go to the references that we have for these oracle decks, and then we dive deeper into you know discovering more about these goddesses. But in the book, the guidebook that we have for the goddess power, it talks about putting all of your dreams into her cauldron, which I felt like was very apropos for the fact that we're in October and moving into our, you know,
yeah,
Halloween, All Saints, you know.
yeah. She is in Celtic lore a witch, but
Mm-hmm.
she is the White Witch, which is the good witch. So the potions and the magic that she chooses to use is for the benefit
That was good.
of others. It is
Yeah.
for the good. And we often, when we invoke the goddess or we invoke certain attributes of these energies, well, I always say for the good of all and the harm of none, the good of
Yeah.
all and the harm of none,
Mm-hmm.
just so we've got that energy in the right space and place. Because certainly we don't want to be mixing any potions to harm anybody. We may
Indeed.
feel like it, but we're not going to do that.
Nope. Always
No,
for the good.
no. Yeah, and she's kind of the mother slash crone energy of the triple goddess, which I like because I'm kind of uh, in that mode. And then this, and then speaking of cauldron, I've been called to make soup. I guess maybe
Mm.
it's like this time of the year. It's like soup
Yeah.
time, and you
Yeah.
just mix in all this stuff. Like I usually just whatever's in the pantry, let's just throw it in and see what comes out.
Yep. I actually have made a couple of soups over the last few weeks. Indeed. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, and I I love that what she's taking our dreams and visions and intentions, and I can just envision her mixing this up with just all this magic and creating the infinite potential, or taking
Mhm.
that, and here you go, take some of this and let's make these dreams come true. I think
Yeah.
that's what prompted me to post yesterday about dreams, making your dreams come true, or follow your dreams, or something of that nature. Because you fall asleep. You've had experiences where you've in a
Oh, yeah.
dream you've received like all the answers. That I've got it,
I have. I
and
had
then
a.
and then
Yeah.
boom, you get down,
Yeah.
you get down.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never forget that one. I had a treatment, an energy harmonizing treatment, and that night, my sleep, I was like, I had all the answers, and as I was being pulled back into my physical being, I literally experienced myself going, no, 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 trying to grab it.
I know. And
So yeah.
that was kind of the energy of I was trying to impart in that message was that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have these beautiful experiences and we're flying and we just there's no boundaries and all of that, and then boom, wake up and
You're back to reality.
yeah, ooh,
Back to life.
yeah, yeah, or I I remember in my dreams saying to myself, you need to remember this. You need to remember this. You
Mm-hmm.
need to don't forget this. And then my ego mind, my 3D mind, once I wake
Yeah.
up, gets on with the day and thought, oh, what was it that I dreamed and had the feeling, but
And I
I
think the important thing to remember, and I say this in my meditation journeys that I lead, which is this: allow yourself to accept. So this is an attachment practice, like releasing attachment practice. Allow yourself to accept that whatever you gained, and this applies to our dreams as well, whatever you gained, whatever knowledge, whatever wisdom came, is it's in your heart, and whenever it's time for it to be remembered, it will be. And
mm-hmm,
that's an important practice that I have to take into meditation. I have to take into awareness when I'm having these very vivid and active dreams. Is that it is I don't have to remember because I remember.
mm-hmm,
And when it's time for me to actualize whatever it is that I'm wired to actualize, it will come. That the inspiration will come, the ideas will come, the opportunities will present themselves.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So when we can let go of the need to remember, the need to hold on, the need to have it all worked out, and just begin to allow that magical divine flow to come in,
mm-hmm,
then what that does is invites you into um, the that space of magic, which is what we're talking about this week. Is that when we set intentions, this is really important. This trust in the divine flow is really important.
mm-hmm.
And when we call in the goddess, I'm going to say her name wrong. Cer-
Cerridwyn.
Cerridwyn. When we call in the goddess Cerridwyn, we are inviting her um, remembrance that we can create that magic and that we don't have to know how and where what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And I completely can see that happening. And also, I often notice when I go to sleep and I dream, it's kind of all these wacky things that had happened during the day, or not even that, but just maybe the feeling I got from this or aspects. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like mixing in that cauldron. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my body is weaving and stirring and
Mm-hmm.
infusing
Mm-hmm.
that, because often when I emerge from a dream, I just have that feeling. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't really know what happened, but I know the feeling.
Right.
And I mean,
Right.
it's coming, like you said.
Right. So when we're invoking her, we're invoking the potential of what we are putting into the world, like the
Mm-hmm.
potential of things to come to us. As a practitioner, as a guide, as a teacher, one of the things that I really encourage people whenever they're working with manifesting power, because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about our ability to manifest the life that we want to be living.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
it's not cookie cutter. It's not in a box. It's having the vision. It's having the intention. Okay, I want to move in this direction. I want to create this this experience for my life, but releasing the attachments to the actualization of that vision, right? So if I'm heavily attached to the vision looking exactly the way that my ego mind says that it needs to look, then I'm actually kind of putting resistance into that flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
it
absolutely.
so then the divine flow is coming in, and then it hits drag, like and
Right.
it's not really, because then I'm not really flowing in the divine energy. I'm flowing in. I'm making this happen. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really remembering that we are co-creating with the divine. So when we're talking about divine flow, when we're talking about divine flow, it means that we are honoring what we're inspired, what we're feeling inspiration and insight to create, and acting on it without the attachment of what it looks like on the other side. So I recently had a workshop that I created, and it was so in the divine flow as I was creating it. It made it like there were things that were coming to me that I was like, there's no way I know this,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just knowing this, right? It was just knowing the information and teaching from that place. And so as I was creating it, there was 6 weeks of creating content and ideas and inspirations and meditations and all of these things. And it felt so good when I was in the creative space, right? Because I was in the flow. When I got out of the flow was when I started worrying about, is anyone going to register?
Uh-huh.
And
Mm-hmm.
so then my ego mind started planting these seeds of doubt. And so I had to do the work. I had
Yeah.
to sit with myself. I had to get quiet with myself. I had to envision this workshop coming together and not putting a number. Oh, I'm going to have 60 people. Well, that's not going to take me, that's not going to help me manifest. That's actually putting some resistance, because now I've put a number. It has to be this in order for me to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
No, no. We ended
Yeah.
up with 10 students, which was such a blessing. And the responses that have come back from some of those students already has been transformative. Like they've really experienced a transformative experience, because once I let go of the attachment to, is anyone coming, then started putting action instead into getting the word out and letting people know about it, and doing the things that I have to, that just are part of this 3D world.
Right, right. Well, and then you had enlisted the help of some other people to
Right,
help you
right,
do that, so that you didn't
right,
have to
right. But
jump
so the
out of the plane.
reality is that it's how can I stay in the divine flow? Like, so often we find ourselves in that place where we're dropping everything into that cauldron and we're mixing it all up and it feels really good and we're really excited. And then we taste the soup and it doesn't taste the way we want it to.
Or you think it tastes really good, but then you give it your family
Right,
taste it and go,
right.
it's
So,
okay.
so it's really about how can we invoke Cerridwyn into the whole process of manifesting, not just the beginning process where we have this dream. The dream is fantastic. It's how can I stay in divine flow the entire time? How can I trust in the process? How can I create practices and tools to help me work through my ego's, throwing little roadblocks in for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're
Well,
human. We're
yeah,
human. This is part of the human existence. Is we have an ego mind that was built on beliefs and practices that may not necessarily be truth.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
So,
proof positive, when I manifested my soulmate,
mm-hmm,
he was there. I knew he was there, and I did that ego thing where I made a list of all the like 20 attributes I wanted in a
right,
soulmate, and I had to redo that, narrow it down to how, really, quite honestly, how do I want to feel with this person? And
Yeah.
not so much how he's going to look, or, I mean, there were obviously a couple of things that I really did not want
Mm-hmm.
to have in a relationship, but that they weren't in alignment with myself or the person. So that really didn't become an issue. Uh, and then I had to do the work, like you said. I had to
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Right.
just
Continue to follow
release
the flow
release
and
attachment
mm-hmm.
and meditate on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
how do
Visualization.
I,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, all of those tools, like you said. And but people, every time I tell the story that I claimed I'm going to meet my soulmate, quit my 9 to 5, and move to the beach. Everybody's like, "How did you do that? I want to do that." And I said, "Well, I had to do some work.
Yeah. You did the work.
I did the work, and yeah, yeah, and yeah." What else to say about
Well,
that?
and even where we are now today with this group, like this was a dream. You know, I looked at Paige in August of last year and said, we're supposed to do some work together. Then we planned the time to sit down and just be in communion with one another together physically in the same place. And by the end of those 2 days, we were like, okay, we're going to dive into the divine feminine more. We're going to create experiences. And initially it was okay, we're going to have this retreat. And then within 3 weeks, invoking the divine goddess came to us. Then it began to evolve from that seed. And one of the things I can say that we have really purposely applied to this vision is if it doesn't flow, it's a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're forcing something, if we're pushing something, if we're having an attachment to what the outcome looks like for something that we're creating, then we are
Mm-hmm.
releasing it because it's not in alignment with our intention for this work. So at this point where we are, every experience we have, every gathering we have, every opportunity we have to have these goddess chats on Wednesday, it is in divine flow. It feels in divine flow, and that's one of the lessons that I have learned over my nearly 20 years of working this magic, this yoga and meditation and spiritual magic,
Mm-hmm.
is aligning to what feels in divine flow and what does not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken me a long time to recognize what that feels like.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned yoga, and obviously that you were a yoga teacher and when I first started yoga teacher training with you, I had no idea why I was really doing. I was either, why am I in this class, really? But I I think back to that was my journey into finding my goddess, because my practicum became kind of
Mm-hmm.
centered around that,
Yeah.
and so it was what I knew that was inside of me that needed to
Mm-hmm.
be expressed. So I remember my final class
Yeah.
being all beachy
Yeah.
goddessy, whatever, and it was
Yeah.
fun and it flowed. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was almost okay. That's why I did this.
Mm-hmm. Was to connect deeper to that. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm not saying that you'll all have to go out and become yoga teachers, but yeah, you find those tools and a way to dig deeper into that energy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
knowing that it's there, and
Mm-hmm.
that to me is empowering, and that's something that I wanted to impart on our goddesses, that you are empowered to do
Mm-hmm.
these things. You have it within you.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to tell you, oh yeah, you can do that, or oh no, you might need to rethink
Yeah.
that. No, there's
Yep.
infinite potential. Thank you,
Yes.
Cerridwyn.
Yes.
Infinite potential.
Yes. So our invitation here is to invite you to dream and to begin to imagine yourself living that dream and to call upon Cerridwyn to help you trust the process, to envision the process or to envision the experience and to just, begin to work that magic of manifesting your dream into reality.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
Love it.
with that, goddesses, we will bid you adieu for the day. We have our new moon gathering coming up soon. We'll be announcing that through an event here within the next 24 hours or so. So definitely check that out and join us if you can. And because each month has been magnificent. As well as we will have another journey with the goddess here at the end of October. We're going to actually work with Morgan, being
Death
opportune
and
to do our
magic.
working with her for our month of October. So if you haven't joined for the goddess journeys, definitely check that out too. One of our beautiful goddess sisters, Shannon, has been really running with it. She's been posting in the group, so check out her posts as well. It's pretty inspiring. So thank you all for joining us every week, and we will see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.